Disclaimer. Hello everyone, for this video we're going to be talking about Beyblade Remix, especially since we are approaching the 25th, well, we are in the 25th anniversary time zone actually now for Beyblade, so I kind of want to talk about, you know, since Burst has basically birthed all these remakes, kind of go over what they did right, what they did wrong, the failures of handling remakes, and what they have to avoid, right? So obviously, if you are new here, subscribe to the channel, and after you watch this video, comment your thoughts, and please check out mallofbays.com because we have Beyblade Burst products and Beyblade X products. It is an optional way to support the channel, but it helps keeps the channel alive, so I appreciate any support regardless. But please check out our store. So let's kind of focus first on the plastic generation. So for the plastic generation, you'll notice this generation is a lot more aggressive in its actual design. You know, the bays are very sharp, very aggressive contact points, all that stuff. So when you're translating it into the burst system, now the burst system works like this: a layer, disc, and driver, right? And you basically twist to assemble, and it untwists in battle as they're hitting each other, so one of them can burst, right? But the plastic gen bays have this problem where, well, if they're exactly the original shape, other than maybe breakage issue, whatever, the recoil's too strong. It'll kill them all and they won't be usable. So they had to modify them by making them a lot more rounded off in design. And not only that, but they also had to ensure they gave them like strong sets of teeth, because generally all the plastic gen stuff basically has, I would generally say, pretty decent teeth for all of them, decent to strong teeth, but some of them are really, really bad. I know some of them try to give like those burst stoppers. I think Dragon V2 has it. And there's also the V-Series remakes when they decided to give them metal weighting, I guess. Just like a little bit. I guess that was like a little cute thing that they did. But it's so interesting to see the lengths that they go to kind of just for these bays in general. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, no, these remakes are just meant for collectors. You're not meant to actually use. No, that is made up. You are meant to use them. They design all these things in with the purpose of you actually using them. So there's a lot of game balancing stuff they have to do, and a lot of thought that goes into it so people can actually use it. So leading off from that, we kind of hit the Metal Fight generation. Now, the Metal Fight generation, now how they did it was a little bit different, because Metal Fight bays are basically kind of very rounded off, so they basically had to make them kind of a little bit more aggressive in their actual design. So maybe it'll be a little bit lopsided one side to the other. But more interesting than that is also generally all of them do have a little bit of metal weighting on them, kind of, even though they're Metal Fight bays and they're remade into Burst, they don't have the metal contact, but they at least have the metal weighting. It's that all of them have shit teeth. And I asked myself why. It doesn't make any sense. All of them either have, well, actually, let's be fair now. All of them have like okay to really shit teeth. And it never really made much sense to me, because at most you could classify these as technically Chizetsu layers, but if you did not want to and you wanted to actually just classify them how they classified them, and just something else differently entirely. It was such a confusing thing to me, because it's not like, for an example, the Media l-drago, well, maybe Medio, but maybe like, I don't know, like a Gravity Perseus would be used in sparking if it had slightly good teeth. It's one of those odd things that I won't really understand why they did it. Because keep in mind too, the time frame when these things were released also matters quite a bit, but more or less, the plastic gen stations of the designs were so recoily, they had to modify them quite a bit and give them strong teeth, so actually, no real issues there. But just talking about transitioning from one gen to another, Metal Fight was, I think they were just too good for Burst, to be honest, so they had to kind of kill them as much as possible. But, you know, for the most part, you know, a lot of the part choices, that type of stuff, you know, I would say was decently represented in Burst, decently. Now we reach Beyblade X. Now, Beyblade X already has the huge benefit of not being the Burst system. So automatically that means that any other remake that deals with this issue won't be an issue for X. Because burst had all these issues with, okay, the recoil in design, how they burst, certain designs can't really work because of the burst system, yada yada yada. But Beyblade X has the benefit of being Beyblade X's system for how the bays burst and explode, because the bursting essentially works, it's not really on the blade, it's on the middle part of the ratchet, and technically also extending towards the bit. And also the fact that they're metal. It's metal for the thing, but what does Dronzer S have the issue of right now, and what I want to see them try to avoid? Weight is a big problem. Dronzer S has like this nerf in it where they made the weight a lot less than the average blade. I think it's like 28 grams or something like that. And while Dronzer S can still be used in competitive, where there may be some type of defense combo or generally attack, it can still be used obviously, but it's kind of going to that little annoying thing, like, why? It's like I feel like they're afraid that the remakes could maybe overshadow the mainline blades, because what other reason do you have to kind of make these weird choices? Like Dronzer S, for an example, you just add a couple more metal to it, and then after it's that 30 grams or 31 grams. And generally I would say Dronzer S, at least for the general adaptation of it, I would say it is fine. I would say that it would be nice if TAKARA TOMY could create new content that represents the original bottom parts of the bays, because we haven't really been getting that. What they basically been done is doing as close as possible to whatever a tip is, which is fine, but it would have been nice just to see new content. But aside from that, you know, for an example, we have Trigger S and Tripio, and eventually other stuff, and I'm so curious to see how they finalize all this stuff, because for the plastic gen stuff, really the issue is going to just be generally the weight, because they can more or less do whatever shape that they want, because it's the Beyblade X system. They don't have to modify too much, and it's metal too. It's obviously the outer contacts for the plastic gen for Dronzer S is metal, the middle part, all that stuff is plastic. But you know, the other thing too, it's like Metal Fight Remix, I think, are the easiest thing to do, because that's literally just as metal on the outside, you just do plastic on the inside. It's almost a done job. It's almost a very easily done job. So Metal Fight Remix, it's very hard for them to fuck up, right? It's a very hard job. But Burst is going to be the same issue that the plastic gen bays face, because Burst designs are very hard to convert into X because of the middle portion of it. But the general shapes too are also going to be very tricky to pull off. That to say, I feel for the 25th anniversary remakes, they should be able to hopefully fix this. Well, not, I'm gonna say fix, you know what I mean. Like, make sure all future releases have an appropriate weight to them. Maybe some new content on the performance of the bottoms, and aside from that, I'm very excited for this year for the 20th anniversary remix. So think of this video as kind of just highlighting all kind of, okay, this is the issue of this stuff, this is the issue of that, here's what X issue was, here's what they need to fix, and that's pretty much this entire video. So that's kind of it. I want to say thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day, and bye.